Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Wadzanai Mercy and this is Inside Out. First things first, thank you guys so much for all the love, all the comments, all the DMs, all the views from last week's video. I really appreciate it and I'm really looking forward to the rest of this series. If this is the energy you guys are going to maintain, then I'm really excited about it. So today we've got a very special guest. All our guests are very special, but this one is very, very special. When God first put this series into my heart, this was the first person he dropped in my spirit. None other than Brenda Mboo.
Thank you for having me.
Brenda Mboo, my Minana. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is a long time coming. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yes, we have.
Yes, so finally it's happening. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. First things first, you recently celebrated your 3rd year anniversary.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes. How's that been? How's been marriage?
Marriage is exciting. Marriage is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, God ordained marriage himself.
Yes.
So having God in it just means everything has to go excellently, like perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, it obviously has its ups and downs,
It does.
but if you ask me how marriage is, how these 3 years have been, I would say they've been the best 3 years of my life.
Really? Oh wow.
I hope Gift says the same, but well, yeah, exactly. Personally.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Just a bonus question.
Yes.
What 3 tips would you give newlyweds, first year of marriage, navigating first year of marriage?
Okay, so this is something that we're told during our courtship stage, premarital counseling, actually, something that I've lived with, something that we've both lived with. We're told to plan together, to play together, and to pray together.
Yep.
Those are the 3 P's that I feel like if you do that together, if you're praying together, that means you've put God first in your marriage.
Yeah.
If you're planning together, that means there's no, oh my God, so what are you doing? Like you are doing
have one
things
vision.
together. Exactly.
Yeah.
You are moving in one accord.
Yeah.
And then you're playing together. Like, what better way than to play with the person that you
your
are now
best
one
friend.
with? You know,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, it's cool to have other friends, but yeah, let your
partner
husband,
be
let your
that.
wife be like your guy,
number
your
one.
person, your
Yeah.
number one.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what I have.
So let's dive straight into your pregnancy journey.
Okay.
So your child is called Minana.
Yes.
That's your firstborn.
Yes.
How old is Minana now?
Minana is now 1 year and 2 months old.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that's so sweet.
Thank you.
But from what we understand, Minana obviously was not your first pregnancy.
Yes, that's
not your
true.
first child. Okay, so let's talk about your first pregnancy. How old were you when you first fell pregnant?
I was 24, turning
Okay.
25. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even realize at the time that you were that young.
Yeah. Well, I now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was a kid.
a young mom, yeah.
Yes. But okay, well.
Would you recommend having kids young?
Yes, I would recommend having kids young. If everything had gone my way, by now I would have been done having
really?
kids. Like, yes, that was my plan. But then, you
Okay.
know, God's plan,
Are
you
different,
know.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so let's go back to when you first fell pregnant. What year was that?
That was in 2021.
2021.
2021.
Where were you in your life at that time? What was happening? Were you expecting it? What was going on in Brenda's life at that time?
Okay, in 2021, well, my husband came and paid lobola on the 1st of January,
Okay.
2021. So I was a married woman, you know.
Okay.
I was still at my parents' house waiting for my white wedding, but I was a married woman, so yeah. Well, then God blessed us, and then we got pregnant. I didn't even know I was pregnant.
Okay.
Like, my husband is the one that realized I was pregnant because of certain behaviors.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. I'm not testing. And then when I tested, I was like, oh yeah, I
I'm
actually am pregnant.
How far
But
along were
then,
you when you found out?
I was 4 months pregnant.
4 months.
Yes, I was 4 months
4
pregnant.
months pregnant.
Yes, I was
No
4 months.
symptoms, nothing.
No. That child was heaven sent. Like, I was just, well, the one symptom was I loved sleeping.
Okay.
But then, like, it's
Was that
nothing out
abnormal?
of, no, it's not, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Like, Sunday after church, I take a nap. Anytime that I have to myself, I don't mind napping. So it was like, maybe I'm extremely tired
Okay.
because of the wedding planning and everything that's going on. That's what was in my brain. But then other than that,
And you were not showing?
no, I wasn't. I had my flat stomach. Like everything was going so well. Like nobody even, and we didn't even tell anybody else.
Okay.
Like, I think the first person to notice that I was pregnant, other than me and Gift, was my sister the day after my wedding, because she had to pack some of my clothes for me. I asked her to do that, and then she saw Gaviscon for pregnant women.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's when she found out.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, "Are you pregnant?"
So no one could tell?
Nobody
No
could
morning
tell.
sickness?
No morning sickness.
No cravings?
None at all.
So you only then went to the gynecologist at 4 months?
Yes.
That's crazy. Because for me, first
extremely.
trimester, I had a lot of bloating. So from like 8 weeks, 9 weeks,
Yeah.
you could already tell that I was pregnant.
I would love that.
So come 4 months,
Yeah.
I was full blown, literally full blown.
You
like
were
you couldn't hide it. I
pregnant.
was pregnant,
Oh wow,
pregnant.
that's lovely.
People thought I was in my second trimester. My
Wow.
family actually thought I'd gotten my dates wrong, and I was further along than I thought I was. So
That's interesting, because when I'm like 9 months pregnant, it looks as if I'm like 6 or 5 months pregnant to
Yeah.
other people. So
I
would
guess
actually
pregnancy
want
is
like
different
a
for
big
everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Pregnancy is different for everyone.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so you were planning a wedding.
Yes.
How did you plan a wedding whilst you were pregnant?
Well, I didn't know I was pregnant, so,
So it
was-
didn't affect you?
It didn't affect me in any way.
Okay.
From the day I realized I was pregnant, nothing much changed. I was just now conscious that I have a baby on the way. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I think for me, tiredness was also a symptom that I had.
Yeah.
I was constantly tired. I can't remember if it was first trimester or second trimester, but I would need to nap every afternoon for I think 2-3 months.
Yeah.
For 2 months maybe. Like, okay, already I'm waking up late,
Yes.
and then every afternoon I have to sleep.
I think
I would
that's
either
what
go to the
pregnancy
car
does.
or I don't know, Ndurukubasa, I would have to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think tiredness is one of those symptoms people should expect when they're pregnant.
Yes, you'll be extremely tired. Your
Yeah.
body is literally working overtime.
Yeah.
This is like a whole human being that you're carrying.
Yeah.
And I guess as first time moms, it's like the first time you're feeling all these overwhelming. Yeah, so you definitely need
But
to
I think I
rest.
struggled with that because I was such an active person before pregnancy, and I had so many goals, so many things that I wanted to do. So I struggled with accepting the fact that, okay, my body needs to rest. And then eventually I started to sleep, and then, you know, it was like, okay, just learning to adjust. Go to, okay, at this time my body is not active, but after Ndazomuka, it's now better. But yeah, and then come third trimester, I was so active. I remember I even went to work the day before I gave birth.
Wow.
Yeah, even the day I gave birth, I was I was on my way to work, and my mom was then like, no, you're in labor.
Right?
So third trimester, I was now very active, but there was a season where, it was
Where
bad.
you just wanted to sleep.
I just wanted to sleep.
I guess the other symptom I had was I ate a lot.
Oh, is it?
But then, like,
Was that abnormal?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was, like I munch a lot. Like I used to
Okay.
munch a lot. Like, and I wouldn't gain any weight.
Okay.
So that was so normal for me. Like I would always be hungry, but it wasn't nothing out of the ordinary.
What
for
was
me.
your biggest craving? Or something you remember?
I liked KFC.
Really?
Yeah, KFC was the thing.
For me, it was Nando's.
It was
Yes.
with Minana. It was Nando's. With Minana, like even
What
the
is it
Nando's
about
people,
Nando's?
like
They
knew
knew
me.
me.
Like they were like, and they knew Gift. They're like, oh yeah, you're taking
Yeah,
this for your wife, yeah.
And it was
Mhm.
the same thing.
Exactly. It has to
What
be
was
the
it for
same
you?
thing. Like with Nando's, it had to be the wings. And
Okay.
then at some point they don't have the wings. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want your chips. I don't want anything
I just
else.
want the
no.
wings.
Yeah,
And for
exactly.
KFC?
For KFC, it was the wings as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the dunked wings specifically.
Okay.
Mhm.
For me, Nando's, it was the chicken strips and rice.
Oh.
Every day. It was
Every-
$5, and then I'd get a drink as well.
Yeah.
Every single day. And I would put vinegar, and it was just crazy. But every day for I think like 2-3 weeks, I already knew, okay, the Nando's, Pasamora Marshall, it's like 24-hour, except
Yeah.
for during the week. I already knew, this one serves the best Nando's. Like
Knowing the
was-
timetables.
I knew the timetables. It was
That's
that
interesting.
bad. Yeah.
I guess with me, in terms of food, I couldn't cook.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Okay.
Especially with Minana, I could not cook whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then my husband had to cook. But then if he cooked in my presence, so literally cooked the whole 9 months, right? But then let's say he's boiling the meat or he's preparing the supper, and then I smell it.
Yeah.
Like we are closing the doors and going to Nando's.
Really?
Yes. And then we eat that food tomorrow. Like if you prepared it in my presence, like yeah, exactly. That wasn't working.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So let's get into, so your first trimester, first pregnancy wasn't very active, like it wasn't very significant. So let's go into the third trimester. Your birth and delivery story.
Oh, okay.
You are now, when did contractions start? What was that like?
All right. So I'll start in the second trimester.
Okay.
Well, now that I was conscious that I'm pregnant, and it was after the wedding, like the busy period had passed and everything, and it was also during COVID times.
Okay.
So we had our wedding on the day of our wedding in the evening. That's when they announced lockdown again.
What?
Hey.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So then people on the 13th of June got into lockdown, and then that's when we were.
And your wedding was 12th June.
Yes, and our wedding was on the 12th of June. So I had a flu, like a horrible flu. Like I was so sick, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. I think I went for like 5 days without eating anything. Like anything I tried to consume literally would just come out. So I was now pale. And like that's when hospitals were like closing. At 4 p.m., 3 p.m.
And you couldn't get assistance.
So, and then like on the 5th day, it was like, no, this is not it. And then we had to go to see the doctor. I only came back to life after being put on a drip. So yeah. In that moment it was crazy, but then after that it was then fine. Then we started going to visit our gynecologist, and that's when they told us that like everything with my daughter Nadine, right? You know how at a certain stage, let's say at 28 weeks, like let's say a baby's supposed to be like 1 kg and stuff in weight, in terms of weight, and would have supposed to have passed certain growth percentiles, right? Well, with her, she was slightly lower.
Okay.
Exactly. So then that's when they had told us that, and then we're like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then we're praying about it and going through our lives. So the whole time, and then with every visit, it got so much better.
Okay.
Like what the doctors had been saying, like we have to look out for this, that. Every visit, I'm like, this is a great improvement and all. And so yeah, that was fine. And then in terms of when we got to go to the doctor, I still couldn't eat home cooked food. Yeah.
Okay.
So on one day, in my 3rd trimester now, I was at 36 weeks and 4 days, 5 days. And then I was just like, no, we can't cook here, like let's go get some food. And then we were on our way. Then we called Gift's sister, my tete. She's a doctor. And then she's like, how are you? How's everything? And I was like, I have extreme back pain.
Okay.
Like, I remember on that day, like at work, I was like, I don't think I'll be coming to work anymore because the back pain is just extreme, and I was feeling so tired.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I told her all of that, like, and I was like, like, it was the first pregnancy, so like you don't know a lot about pregnancy and what to expect. And I was just like, and I don't remember like feeling the baby move today. And then she's like, okay, please go to the doctor now. And I'm like, no, I'll go get food first. Then she's like, no, it's fine, it's okay, get food, get sweets and whatnot. And then she's just like, move the baby. So
you would feel the baby move.
Yes.
You had already like the baby would move.
Yeah,
but not that
very
day.
active.
Very
active baby.
Okay.
And then on that day, like I felt the movements, but then they weren't as much. Like like when you have a very active baby, like kicking, like
exactly.
Like yeah. And then on that day, it was the kicks were there, but then they weren't as as hard as they used to be. And then I just mentioned that to her, and then she's like, okay, just go to the doctor. And then so I had booked at a certain hospital.
Okay.
I won't mention them.
Okay.
Why? Because I was probably extremely traumatized, and even till today, passing through that hospital, I really struggle.
No.
Like I have to change the route. If you say you want to meet there, Well, yeah, recently I went and met somebody there, but I had to hold back all the emotions and everything. But then, like, for the past 4 years, we've been avoiding that place.
4 years already.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hey, and then I then had to get my COVID test done because you couldn't get admitted without it at that point. Then I had to get tested. Then the COVID results came in. Then I got admitted. Then yeah, we were in the hospital. So then
You were
I was
negative?
so excited. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. I was so excited. I'm like, I'm finally having my baby because at 36 weeks I was
You're tired.
tired.
I was tired.
really, really
Yeah.
tired. And I was so excited. And then we get in there, and then the nurses are doing their routine checks. And so one of them comes and they're like, they were checking the baby's heartbeat and movement. And they're like, I can't hear the baby's heartbeat. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. It didn't even click in
that
my
there could
head or
be something
anything.
really
I was just
wrong.
like, I didn't even realize that anything is wrong. But then the nurses kept coming in and exchanging and whatnot, and they let my husband stay in with me. And I didn't even realize what was happening. I hadn't realized what was happening at that moment. And then they called my gynecologist, and then he said he was coming in the next day. I was like, no, that's fine. Probably tomorrow. That's when the contractions will start and everything and whatnot. Only for him. And then they ordered more tests for me and stuff. And then I went for all of them. Very happy, very prayerful. Like, God, I'm getting into labor. Like, make this happen.
Induced,
Like, I hope it's not as painful as people make it sound. You know. And I was like, and then when my gynecologist came. He was an older guy, like he was quite old. Then he came and he wasn't okay.
So did you use the same gynecologist for the second pregnancy?
No.
Okay, so we're not going to disclose who that gynecologist
we're
was.
not.
Okay,
No, we're
let's not disclose. Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Okay,
are not.
it's okay.
We're for.
It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then so he came in, right? And then like he's an old guy, so like sometimes they don't have much emotion, right? Then he's like,
Not have much emotion. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Uh-huh.
And then he's like, so you've been doing all these tests, and all that. So I'm very sorry to tell you, but your baby is dead.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, what do you mean my baby is dead? And he's like, so he didn't even get into it, and he's like, so we're gonna induce you now. Then he gets into the process, and I haven't even processed
Registered or internalized.
Like I got
And
it.
he's
Like we
already-
packed the bag, like everything. Like I couldn't breathe. My husband couldn't. We're zombies in that moment until he left. And I was like, what did he say? And then my husband just hugged me. Oh my God. I hope I don't get emotional. Like, yeah,
I'm
gonna
getting
try.
emotional.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. I'm gonna try to. Okay.
And then so he just hugged me, right? And and then we just started crying.
Oh no.
And okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. No, let me try. I'm a big girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we started crying, but then when you know how big your God is, there's I always use I move
Can
with
we
the
get
mantra. I move with the mantra. Not like your problems aren't big, like your God is.
Okay.
So we were like, you know what? We are faith people. Like I have seen the hand of God in my life from a very young age, and so has my husband. So in that moment, we were like, God has brought us this far, and He won't fail us. So we had so much faith in that moment. Like I feel like if I have that much faith for any other moment in my life, everything will go extremely well. So in that moment, you're like, you know what? Doctors, but then God, I said, you know what? Isusu patino gumira. That's when God starts, and I was like, you know what? This doctor has failed.
Was that your immediate?
Yes,
feeling?
that was
Really.
Yes, after crying and after recollecting, I was like, no. This guy has ended here.
Okay.
God, take over now.
Okay.
So
at this point, you still had hope that.
Yes, I
the
still had
baby is
hope.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I still
Okay.
had hope. And then we told Gift Sister, the doctor, and then she's like, let's start praying, like she's also a pastor. Then she's like, let's start praying. But then she was praying with wisdom, knowing that since she's a doctor, she was praying with wisdom that like the giving birth process and everything goes well. But then me and my husband had faith that this child is gonna come out breathing and everything will be fine. And then so like we're like, you know what, let's pray. And then we prayed. Then I got induced. Oh my God, that is so painful. Like, oh, it's so painful.
Like 0 to 100.
Exactly. And the worst part was like, you know, in as much as I had so much faith, like reality was kicking in that my baby is dead already. Like, and you start wondering, what did I do wrong? What happened? How did I miss it? Like, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then but then like with everything, we kept praying, my husband rubbing my back and everything. And you know, like at some point we had a visiting hour, and then like we had told them that they are saying the baby is dead. So they're like my faith is up there, but then like most people are coming in and saying, oh sorry, or I'm like, no, I don't need this energy right
our
now.
faith is up
exactly there. But then like, you know, like when you have your people, like I remember when my sisters got in, I just broke down. Like it was like you have your moments of weakness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, fast forward, I then gave birth, and the pain was so excruciating.
Oh, no.
Like because I knew what was happening as well. Gift says I would faint. Like I would literally pass out. I think I passed out a couple of times. And he would have to shake me, and his prayer was, God, I can't lose my child and my wife. So yeah, that was, you know, as much as it was difficult for me, I think it was like really bad for him. Then so yeah, I gave birth, and then the first thing I realized was my baby didn't cry. And then they just tried, they checked, they tried to resuscitate, but it was a bit too late. And they gave us time with her. Yeah, they did. Because they gave us time with her, like the whole afternoon with her before they took her away.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, that was extreme. Never in my wildest dream did I ever think I would hold a dead baby.
Oh my God.
Not just a dead baby, but my dead baby. So yeah, hey.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That's
that really was a
traumatic.
lot. It was very. But then she was so beautiful. Like that's the first thing. After getting my phone, I put up a status saying I just met the most beautiful girl ever, because she was so beautiful. And I pride myself in having like beautiful toes, and her toes weren't as pretty as mine. She had funny looking toes like her dad. They were so long and all. And I was like, oh, you're definitely like, these toes aren't mine. Like, but then the face, yeah, definitely. And she looked so alive to me. Like she looked like a sleeping baby. Yeah, exactly. And then I guess the worst part was when they were like, okay, so we now have to take her. Oh my God. I couldn't handle it. I definitely couldn't handle it at all. That was hectic. And I remember the only thing I wanted at that point was my little brother. Yeah. And in his attempt to make me feel better, he sent me his ugly kid pic. He forgot about it. Yeah, couldn't I? He forgot about it in no time. But whenever I look at that pic, it speaks volumes of so much love that in my weakest moment, he didn't know what to do. But then he just felt, oh, okay, maybe this will make her smile. And I guess that's like one of my favorite photos of him, and the photos I have in my phone. So yeah, hey, like that was hectic. Yeah.
So they took the baby?
Yeah, they took the baby. They did. And well, my husband had to deal with everything.
The logistics.
The logistics and everything. And yeah, that was hectic for him. They had to they kept me overnight, and they kept me in a ward with other pregnant women, other people that were giving birth, and other people that had just received, that had just given birth to their alive babies, which was beautiful. It's not like you're sad for them, you're like happy for them, but then like you're in a state, guys. That's why I would mention the hospital.
It's a bit insensitive.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, the next day I'm like, I want to go home. They're like, oh my God, no, you aren't well yet. I'm like,
I want to go home.
I said I want to go home. Like, let me go home. I'll heal at home. And then until my mom had to come in. My mom is like a no-nonsense person. Then she had to come in. She's like, no. Take my child out now. Exactly. That's how it happened. And so going back home, I think, like grief happens in stages. At some point, like when I was now on my bed, I was like, okay, like I still hadn't processed what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
No words could ever. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. No one ever deserves to go through something like that.
Nobody. So I guess the other horrible part was actually leaving the hospital.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like leaving the ward and walking out of that hospital. I'm like, what? I came in pregnant and I'm walking out empty-handed.
Oh my God.
I literally broke down. Like, ooh, that was hectic. Even when I think about it till now, like I'm planning to go back to that hospital, walk in with Minana and walk out with Minana, so that I rewrite the story, because that was the hardest walk of my life. Walking out of that door, like seemed so impossible. Like, how could I get in pregnant? Because
where Gift is holding the car seat and he's walking out of the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what that walk was about? Is that what that video was about?
Yes, it was. Because there's something about going to celebrate in places that you've cried in as well. Exactly. So that was like a redemption moment for us. Yeah. So
okay. So going back to the night before.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first symptom was you couldn't feel the baby kicking anymore.
Yeah.
Did they give you a reason?
So when the baby was turning now to get into like the proper position, apparently like the umbilical cord like wrapped around her neck. So even when she came out, it was still around her neck, and they had to like unwrap it. So yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, hey, that was a lot. Hey,
that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So you still had to go through labor pains.
I did.
You had to give birth. The whole experience.
Yes. And I still was in a labor ward, hey, with other pregnant women. And like after you give birth, like your breasts are ready to produce milk for the baby. I had to go through all of that. I had to heal from giving birth
that was
the baby.
Yeah, that was my next question, to say postpartum. You're going through the experience just like any other pregnant woman. So your breast was still producing milk.
Yes.
For how long?
I got medication to stop the milk.
Okay.
But then the pain and the gorging of the breast still happened. And when that would happen, I would then cry out and say, like, God, why would you put me in this situation? Like,
you had stitches?
No, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How long was the labor of giving birth after you were induced?
I think 4 hours, I guess. Yeah, that's how I pass out. Yeah. So yeah, hey, it's also a miracle that I'm alive. I really want to thank God for that, because I've heard of so many women that were in the exact same position where you've lost the baby and you realize it a bit too late, or even if you realize it in the moment that it has happened, they've lost their lives. they've lost loved ones, like their husbands probably just leave them. So yeah, hey, I'm very grateful for life, because in the position that I was in, apparently she had been dead for like a day or two. So
Oh my God.
by the time I then gave birth, but then it had happened on the day that I realized it, right? On the day that I went to the doctors. So on any other normal case like that one, I know of people that have died. I've heard of people that have died as well. So I'm very grateful to God that I'm here alive, well and strong. I also know of people that then had to go through so many horrible things from just experiencing something like that.
Okay, so when you then, at first you had hope, when it then registered, you've given birth and baby cannot be resuscitated. What were your emotions? What were your thoughts?
I was hurt. Me and my husband were both very hurt. But the first thing that we did as well was we prayed. Before we even did anything, when we realized that they couldn't just resuscitate the baby, we just prayed and we thanked God for life. We thanked God for the whole ordeal. And even when we had our baby, when we had time with her, we prayed so much. And when it was time to let her go, we also prayed as well.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it sounds beautiful, but in the moment,
yeah,
it's like have you ever been at a point where you have absolutely nothing else but God? Like, you know, sometimes money can do stuff, you know, like people can run around, but then there's times when you just realize this is God. This is a God thing.
Now being a mom, this story for me is crazy. I cannot imagine. I cannot at all imagine what you went through, and I am so sorry. You are now home. Obviously, you did baby preparations.
Yeah.
Getting home to a baby room.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was hectic. That was like from leaving the hospital room door, right? Getting to my house, and you know, like people were at my house, they had to come forth. I was like, so I'm supposed to get inside the house, get sad hugs in my own home, and
you didn't want that.
It just didn't make sense. But then I had to soldier through, and you know, like it was love and everything, and getting back home to see my baby's clothes and everything. Well, the bag that we had packed, right, when Gift took it away. He gave it to his best friend. So yeah, I didn't see it for some time, but then I kept asking for it. I was like, where's the bag, and he just wouldn't give it to me. But then the rest of the clothes, why he wouldn't give it to me was from time to time, you know, like when everyone was gone and it was just the two of us and our grief and everything, like I'll just look at the clothes and I'll be like, I'll be fine, I'm okay, I just want to look at the clothes and I'll be okay. The moment I look at the clothes, I'll just break down and cry. Like, it could even be the whole night, like at 9 p.m. or like we've slept and then I can't sleep. I wake up, then I go into the next room, I look at the clothes and I start crying. So it's like, no, this is not sustainable. And well, it's a cultural thing. The clothes have to be taken to your parents' house. So
really?
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't willing until my mom had to ask for the clothes, and I begrudgingly took them to her. Exactly. So
everything.
Yeah, everything. Like literally everything. Yeah, we had to take it to her.
Did that help?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I was on cruise control. Yeah, exactly.
So in that moment or in that season, what helped?
What helped was...
Obviously nothing took away the grief, but what relieved, I guess? I don't know, what eased sometimes?
I'd like to say, not to sound too holy or whatever, but I'd like to say God really walked with us in that moment or in that phase of our lives, because we would have gone crazy. Like, it wasn't just me crying, you know, like my husband could just be having a good day, then it's just like, boy, you know, that type of thing. And then like, it's just like the two of us, we could be having such a great time, and it's like, but really? And then we break down. So really, the thing that helped us was the word of God. We kept going to church. We kept reading His Word. We, like encouraging ourselves in the Lord. Yeah, that's what helped really.
Postpartum again, people that maybe did not know what happened. Did you ever have people say to you, "Oh, mwana arukubi"?
Yes, I had to go back to work, right?
No.
Like in an attempt to, people were looking for things that they thought would make me feel better. They're like, go back to work. I'm like, sure thing, I'll try that. So when you go back to work, it's 3 months before you go to work when you have your baby. So I went back to work after a month. Right, and then so the first thing I do when I get there, people that I didn't work with in my office, like the next company, right? They're like, "Oh my God, you're back already! Oh my God, hysteric!" And then you have to laugh it off, and they're like, "Oh my God, congratulations! How's the baby? The baby's fine. Where's the baby? The baby's with my mom."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't have I have some people
you didn't
that
have it in you to just.
I didn't have it in me to keep crying and to keep explaining it to people. So some people actually didn't know what happened. They're like, "Oh, how's the baby?" Imagine someone asking you every single day, "How's the baby?" So in that moment, I would soldier it, right? I'm like, "The baby's fine. Everything is great. She's good. She's growing. The baby's well kept."
Brenda.
But then in my head, I'm like, yes, the baby's well kept because she's with God, And then
so that didn't help. Going back to work.
no, it didn't help because do you know what? This is in the morning, or I see that person at lunch. Then now I go back into my office. Now I'm just there, and I'm like, yo, and then I'm breaking down. So that didn't even help. Then I was like, can I please stop coming to work? Because this is not helping. And people in the office don't know whether to give you work or not to give you work. So I'm just there idle, doing absolutely nothing.
But Kubasa, they should have somehow communicated to other people, surely.
Well, within the company, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
But external people.
External people, clients and everything.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a talker? This type of thing. And you just, one person had to be like, Sha, my baby's dead. So then now, that's weird for them because.
Did you ever
have
that point where you were where you just told someone?
Yeah, I did.
And what was their reaction?
They don't know how to act. They don't know whether to say sorry. They don't know how to. They don't even know how to walk away from you. Literally. So sometimes I felt it exactly.
Really?
Or people that would know you from the street, or someone that once saw you pregnant some time back. They don't know how to act. So I had to soldier on and say my baby is fine.
How did you want people
head,
to act or to respond to you now?
I don't know. Even up till now, I don't know what I want to hear. I don't know what I don't want to hear. One thing I do know for a fact is that our culture is very horrible when it comes to dealing with people that have lost their children. From my own perspective, I had my own family telling me not to cry, not to talk about it, and not to mourn, actually. So I had to tell respectable people that I love that I can't do what you're telling me. No.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. I had to tell some people that I held a dead baby. Have you ever held a dead baby? I was asking my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents such questions. No. Where do we stand in this moment? I had to call out a lot of people, which was very unusual, which was very uncalled for. But then I had to stand my ground because
there's no saying
extreme.
It's uncalled for. That's you and
exactly. So in terms of our culture, it's on a zero. They want to act as if absolutely nothing happened. You weren't pregnant, you didn't lose a baby. You're just supposed to switch up the next day. You're happy.
If
you're
you could
quiet,
recreate a new culture, what would you want? What is supposed to happen?
Well, in terms of dealing with people that have lost their baby or anybody dealing with loss, really, I feel let's be more. Let's acknowledge that the baby was there in the first place. Let's acknowledge that this person went through labor like anybody else. Let's be there for those people, not just expect them today you lost the baby, tomorrow let's do this.
Do you want people to frequently ask you, are you okay?
well, that will lead to you breaking down, but then that's okay. That shows you care. Other than just people will wait for you to like let's say one day I'd put a status that's written like God and 3 dots. Like I'm just like God,
Yeah.
you know. And people are like, my way, don't even do that. Oh, this, that.
No
Like,
way.
no, let's not do that, guys. Let's pray for the people. Let's be there for the people. Let's share the word of God with these people. If you don't have anything to say, please don't say anything at all. Yes. And it's also not just with me. I've had so many women, older women, younger women, sharing their stories of how family dealt with them after the loss of their children, and it's horrific. My family is even better. I'll give them a okay, no, let's not rate them, but other families are probably even worse, you know. So I just feel and hope and pray that we are more inclusive to people that have lost their children. I came across something that says when you lose, let's say you lose your granddad, people will be like, oh, my condolences. But then when you lose your child, nothing like that comes. When you lose your child, it's like, non-starter, you know, like probably your fault. You should have been more careful. Like, and you know, like how me and my husband post on Instagram. We don't even post every day, but then people are like, oh my God, it's because you posted on Instagram. I didn't even post anything about that pregnancy. Nobody on Instagram
because you guys
knew I was
will post after baby at all.
Exactly, the baby had died, right? I think we started posting a week or 2 later, you know, about what had actually happened. But then you still have people coming to you saying, I'm not share Instagram story, you know, that type of thing. And you're like,
no,
get your facts straight.
Okay.
Like, I'm
even
a very
if
nice
person,
person.
Instagram, why would you say that to someone?
Exactly, you know, there's so many people that post their pregnancies, and I like that. It shouldn't be like a thing where we are uploading witchcraft. No. Can we put God where He's meant to be? Above
the fear.
All of that.
Yeah.
So some people want you to have fear here and faith down here. Well, for my life, it's faith up here and fear as a non-starter. So like people like that, I'm a very nice I think I'm a very nice person. But then people that would come at me like that, they don't think Brenda is nice. But I had to tell them. I had to put them straight, like, no. Get your facts right. Exactly. Or people like, oh, don't
But even if the facts were right, that's insensitive to say kutinda post as like a emotion yangu. That's not right.
Yeah, people are just like that.
Okay, looking at that season, how does something infant loss, how does it affect marriage?